Talk about staying in the West. It's the WC World Championship breaking news. Chris Paul is heading, wait for it, to the Houston Rockets. Yes, folks. He's heading to the Rockets for, wait for it, Patrick Beverly, Sam Decker, I think Troy Williams, and maybe a pick. Maybe the Clippers are getting a pick back. So they're basically essentially getting 4 players for about what, maybe 1 or 2 here. Here's the instant reaction to this, man. I think that Chris Paul is chasing a championship here, and Houston is one of those squads where they're built to win now. And I think that for sure one of the biggest things that led to James Harden being a premier player or MVP candidate was the fact that he had the ball in his hands a ton. And when you bring in a Chris Paul, his usage is probably going to go down a little bit. His ball handling is going to go down a little bit. But clearly this is a move to contend with the Warriors. This is a move that helps them surpass the Spurs immediately. And, the balance of power in the Western Conference has shifted at least a little bit. Just a little bit, but not enough. This move right here of Chris Paul going to Houston is enough for you to say, okay, well, damn. You know what I'm saying? The Rockets are really, really serious with that core that they have there. They got Eric Gordon. They've got Lou Williams. They got Ryan Anderson. Their starting lineup should be this. This should be Chris Paul, Harden, maybe you keep Ariza in there, Ryan Anderson. I don't know. This is pending, these guys being free agents because, I'm not in tune with every single guy that's a free agent that's on that roster. But if that roster stays intact with those guys that I'm talking about right now, Houston is probably the biggest threat in the Western Conference now to the Golden State Warriors. No doubt about it. I thought, that Chris Paul could have went to New Orleans. That was a spot for him. He's played down there before. But this is definitely a championship move. This is a championship shot that Chris Paul is taking. And, I'm a little shocked by this, but I'm not really shocked. I think that the most interesting dynamic in this whole situation is how does Chris Paul match up and play with a guy like Harden, because both of these guys need the ball to be effective. And maybe James Harden is like, hey, I've had a bunch of injuries, driving to the basket, being the facilitator. And when you really sit down and think about it, this is the critical analysis that you really won't get too much on Twitter. All right, when you go back and you watch that San Antonio series, all right, series. When you go back and watch that series, there were times during the series that the Rockets just needed a change of pace. They needed a guy to kind of take the reins and force the action or dictate the action, long enough for them to, to kind of withstand what the Spurs were throwing at them. Because, at a good time and point, you were like, hey, they should be able to, just kind of throw up threes and do all this other stuff. And they've got the shooters. And this is the reason why I look at this Chris Paul move and I'm saying, this is not the Warriors necessarily. But this is a team that can outshoot the Warriors. All right? Legit. This is a team and the Rockets, the way that they're constructed, if they're constructed this way exactly the way that I told you guys, that these guys can basically shoot with the Warriors. And then you add in a facilitator like Chris Paul, a great passer like Chris Paul, a floor general like Chris Paul. You know what I'm saying? Like this is really going to be interesting to see how D'Antoni gets Harden and the rest of these guys to play together as a unit. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because the Rockets are one of those teams that are high pace. And I'm not saying that Chris Paul is not capable, because he's more than capable. But this is a high-paced team. Chris Paul can shoot that 3 too, so that's just another guy. This is a championship move by Chris Paul. He really wants a ring. This is basically what this is, and this is something that Houston hasn't had for a while now, like a floor general, like a legit floor general, is what they're getting, alongside sharpshooters like Harden, Anderson, Ariza, Gordon, Williams. I can keep going. They've got him. So let me know how you guys feel about this Chris Paul move. And other free agent moves are coming up very, very soon. But this was just really interesting. I really want. And do you like here? Let me end the video on this. Do you guys think that the Rockets are a super team now? Would you consider them to be a super team? Let's say if like a Paul George decides, hey, let me just go down there. Are they a super team now? I think that they're probably one player away from being a legit super team. But for right now, it's Harden, it's Paul, and then it's a crew of guys that can shoot the lights out. So let me know how you guys feel. It's the WC. And until next time, peace out.